Now, last time we had started on identity access management softwares, wherever we try to set up the access given to the employees, access given to the various groups, and we might call them group policy or group logins, depending upon your organizational policy and procedure. We name these, tool set into one, bundle called ID and IAM. There's a normal, nomenclature used. Okay, and here we are trying to, understand how we can secure the identity management overall. What is identity management? If Ravindra joins my group, I need to make sure Ravindra have sufficient privilege, or Ravindra have the least privilege, to be precise, so that whatever, or whatever digital entity he or she accesses has to be restricted in the most possible way, in the most possible scenarios, and then grant the access for the least possible time. We also try to understood zero trust policy, right? Can anybody share their idea in terms of how this ID and access management will help the cyber security executives? Just give it a thought. We have discussed in our last session, so I just want to understand you. How do you put it if somebody asks you why do you use ID and IAM tools? Anybody, give it a try.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am. Please go
So,
ahead. No problem.
IAM is the identity and access management for the cyber security. Being the cyber security analyst or auditor, obviously it should be the crucial part of the company. We have to take care of obviously this IAM part, because as any person, that the cyber threat is a very crucial and very dangerous threat nowadays. So obviously we have to take care about this IAM tool. So identity is that obviously some any person wants to access the, say suppose in a particular company, they can access anything, right? So if you don't secure the websites or some particular things, so obviously that should be required for the security purpose, because everyone should not access everything in a particular company. And access is that obviously some particular person who are working in the company, working for the company in the particular zone, obviously they should need to access that some particular areas. So access should be allowed to some persons who can access particular things in a company. Say suppose those who are working in a IT sector, they can't access that is last day we have discussed that they can't access the what to say, that the food area, the storage, the database, anything. And say suppose the financing part, whatever the salary, all these things they can't access, right? So they can access whatever they require. That is the whatever their job in their particular company, that particular access they are allowed, right? So and anybody from the outside, those who wants to access the company website and obviously all these things, obviously that are open. So obviously we can't make secure everything, right? So we have to publish something for the outsourcing also. The people get to know about the companies and all these things. So that should be the publish. So in that way, that in a particular company, all these things. Am I right? I'm saying the right things?
Yeah, very rightly said. Now we need to bundle it with a bit of technicality. You're very right. You got the gist of it. You got the background idea of it. Now this is an image which I've shared with you last time, where we have around 12-point agenda, which talks about how we apply these IDIM tool sets to a given organizations, to a given setup. Now, first and foremost, we normally start with accessing the network, right? Whenever somebody want to access something, it's within network, within the corporate network. Now, to give that access, we need to create a kind of user ID and password. That's the basic start technicality. Now, when you start basic user ID, user ID and password, you normally start with giving them access of certain web services, like HTML file to be displayed, some files to be displayed, some particular folder to be displayed, some particular database to be displayed, and so on and so forth. Now there are these levels of privilege we normally implement, where we have a kind of initial privileges with a zero trust policy. So whoever's try to access your network, we start with something called zero trust policy. We give the least possible access. So if you want to access a particular database or a particular web page, I'll just give you that access. Like if you go to Amazon, in the Amazon,
Yes.
you need to progressively go deeper, right? You first start with the search, or you normally check what today's deal, or you normally search for a particular item. Like if you're looking for new LED TV or smart TV, whatnot, and you normally give it in that search. That's what that search gives you. That search gives you whatever categories available within your region. They don't show whatever is available in India, Timbuktu and all. They show you whatever is available to be delivered within your region, and you normally browse through those catalogs. These catalogs are very restricted to a region-based search. Or normally Amazon will check with the vendor, hey, could you deliver in such and such area in North America or Canada? If the vendor says yes, then only they will list that catalog in that for that customer. And this is how basically the overall building a kind of zero trust policy. You try to restrict the access of a user to a bare minimum or whatever he or she wants. And then we normally
last day you have shown a slide where that there is there is a comparison between the two picture in a single slide. That one is that the request and the response. So every person, every access, that means the database and blah 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 things. There are 5 or 6 things are there. So they are sending the request and they are responding. So in the another picture is that the IAM tool is making it very simple, right? IAM is making that this complexity that is by this IAM tool, we can make it, this one. So the requester sending the request, and so requester sending the response, and application distribution is this the request they are getting. So obviously in this particular picture, this IAM solution is that it is making more simpler. That is more simple way, more less people intervention. This things can be done very easily. So that's why this IAM tool is very much popular nowadays. So day by day it is changing according to the necessity of the companies and all the things, right?
Great answer, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And as you can see, if you want to distribute these answers in terms of particular entities, they are like application, database, hardware, server, and so on and so forth. Distribution list talks about some sort of a distribution pages like web page, which is normally shown to all, but still the restriction is for that entity only. Okay, that's really great. Thanks Andhra ma'am. Anybody else want to give it a try? See, we need to keep preparing ourselves for answering such questions. Anybody? See, there's no right.
I have actually last day you have asked that is there any suggestion? So I have one suggestion. Can I say now?
Yeah, please go ahead. No problem.
Yeah, actually we are doing this course for the job purpose, right? So is there any possibilities that you can do some mock case kind of things, that you will ask questions, we will answer that, everybody will answer that, they will try that. So that will be, we will be more, how we adjusted to the, before when jumping to the practical scenario, we'll be more comfortable in this class, right? We are for the long time, you are knowing each other. So if you are making some mistakes, then you can correct us. That will be great.
Exactly. We have a better formal setup called technical interviewing sessions. And forget about technicality. We normally work on every questions. Like we'll start with, tell me about yourself. So we'll talk about, I'm Ravindra Pandey. I have, been living in St. Louis, Missouri for last so many years, so many months. I've started, I'm a cyber security enthusiast. I started my career by doing this project, by doing that project. Then I have been trained on this and that. I have done my technical training in terms of education as well. And then I go on basically marketing myself. That's the kind of sales pitch we want to work on. So tell me about yourself and tell me about your current project. These two questions are asked in almost every interview. So we'll work on that. Then we'll have certain very frequently asked questions. I keep sharing these things in every session, and we'll have these, even a formal, interviewing type session where you might put your video on, you might be dressed formally, and me and Anuj sir, we might act as an interviewers. So, we'll ask a couple of questions and we'll try to understand what's the right way to tackle these things. Because in cybersecurity, as we discussed, there might be a new things thrown on your face, literally thrown on your face, in the sense they might take a tool's name which you have never heard of, and this is a quite a simple possibility. And these type of things, how do you tackle in terms of diplomatic way of saying yes, I've heard of it, but I couldn't get a chance to do hands-on experience of this. And this is a quite possibility, because if you go for a company or go for a region, there are some specific tools they use. Might be distributed to them free of cost to start with, and might be they have got a really great concessional rate for that tool, and so they have accepted it. And this way most of the companies work. Not a very correct way to do it, but that's the way the overall what you can say industry works. Now we need to understand this and we need to cope up with this. So how do you do it? In case somebody asks you a question, hey, do you know XYZ tools, which is really popular in St. Louis area as far as IDM tool goes? You might say, hey, I've heard of it, but I'm not really habituated with the latest UI or something. So there are two things we are addressing here. We are addressing here that tool is not very popular, but yes, I'm ready to learn that. Plus, I have might not be seen the latest UI. Latest UI in the sense, quite a few tool get new to
Updated versions.
Yeah, user interface. They change the button size, button color, button positions, menu position. So this is kind of what we call user interface. So when you look at Microsoft PowerPoint, the cream colors slide with that maroon color, what you can say, patch sticker, or this image is a kind of user interface given for a template by PowerPoint. Similarly, every application have their own way of interface, and that's how they want to what you can say tell the user that we are very user friendly, and that's the way they market themselves as well. So we need to understand that thing. So these are the two ways to tell the interviewer, hey, I'm ready to learn, and I want to if you're using this tool which I have not used, but yeah, I'm ready to cope up with that. And as simple as that, and that solves the matter. If you go on something like no, I have not heard of it, I have not seen it, it means you're trying to steer away, right? Let's not do that. And there could be a scenario, you might join on the job for one tool and you start with a different tool whenever you start your job, because after interview you get around, I think 3 to 4 weeks of what they can say notice period or something, right? So in that area, in that time, they might change the tool as well. And this thing happens in cyber security areas. So that's why we need to cope up with such scenario also. Okay. So yes, really great answer and great question, Antara ma'am. Thanks a lot for that. And we'll have
Thank you,
some
sir. Thank
formal, most welcome, some formal interview preparatory sessions. Okay. Please don't worry about that, because that's the final.
Thank you, sir.
Right? That's the leg where we are basically say, okay, we are well prepared for the job market, and let's start our fight. Let's start our that obstacle clearance called interview. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody
Thank
else
you,
want to explain themselves? Thank you. Thanks a lot, Antara ma'am. Anybody else want to give it a give it a try? Nobody has the complete knowledge, including myself. Yes.
Hello.
Sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. So IAM role, I think to my best of knowledge, I think is a tool owned by AWS, and so many companies are using it in the sense that to avoid they are using it. It's just like an asset management, user access management, whereby they are using it because for them not to allow unauthorized person to come into organization and access their data and other valuable things over there. Then
Right.
this thing got to do with username, IP address, or whatever for you to get access to be authenticate and
Great.
authorized to perform your duty. So somebody that doesn't have the access on that cannot access the company's information or that data or to perform any role. You know, and we have external and local, internal. Internal are the people that work within the companies, within the locality, while external are people outside accessing the network. And without you having an access, you cannot you cannot go into as in you cannot have access to do to be authenticate or to authorize to do to perform your duty.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Is that all, sir? Precious?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. You, I think you talked on all these different points together. That's more of a technical answer. Really great try. Now, what I would really suggest, write down these answer, and so that you can talk without much pause in your delivery, so that the trust get generated. The other feels, yes, you know it by heart, and that's how you explain it. But yes, you explain it within the complete length and breadth of technicality. That's really great try. Anybody else want to go ahead? See, unless and until we try, we couldn't see if you are doing it right with some what you can say shortcomings and all. So please go ahead. Yes, Indumati ma'am, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, I'd like to take a try.
Please.
So identity access management is basically a framework where we will implement the policies and processes in our organization to kind of centrally manage the users and also control their access and permissions to the our informations or critical information or systems, also application and data. So we would be doing it. We will be doing the authentication, authorization, and also the user management work here. And we would do this by implementing the best practices that we have seen. So we would give the first the password policies. We will implement the zero trust policies across all the users, because unlike the previous generation, here everybody's working remote, so we have to implement the zero trust policies, because everybody's accessing it through the internet and not only in our company premises, right? So yeah, so we'll be defining the various policies like the zero trust policy, and we have to provide the strong password policy. What is the criteria that should be met while we are setting the password, like how frequent it should be managed and all that. And also we would expire the password in a particular period, so that the user will keep on changing it to provide the to be more secure. And we will also implement the multi-factor authentication, and also we would be like periodically sending the emails to reset the password or something. And also we will from the IAM, we would divide the like we will be managing all the users based on maybe either the application or the distribution list, or if we are like maybe according to the databases or hardwares kind of. So we will be using some practices to divide the users and implement all these policies.
Perfect. Could you see how we have improved the answer? Madam use a good words which are we have to use, like authorization, authentication, zero trust, rules and policies. These are the words which the interviewer expects from you. If you say these words in the answer, it makes it more technical competent, or your part. And these are the words these cyber security guys use day in day out. They talk about authorization, they talk about authentication, they talk about levels of access, and these are the words which we need to use in our answers. Okay, so please note down these words. Even you can note down these words whenever we are basically, whenever you are playing the recordings and all. Okay, so don't worry. So here we are trying to improve our answer to the best of our knowledge. And if you use such words, you are already, basically trusted by the interviewer, saying, oh, wow, these guys knows authorization, authentication, zero trust policies, levels of access, group policy, and different entity to given access, be it application, database, hardware, servers, web server, this server, that server. Wow, this is great. And this is how we normally build our answers gradually. Great answer, ma'am. I believe you are ready, basically. Just we need to tweak that answer a bit in terms of, getting it start with giving the access, building these policies, like you can call it directory policies, as normally Microsoft call it, or user authentication or authorization policies, as the other software other IDM tools calls it, and so on. So if you use these words, your answer is complete in its sense. And that's what really great about your answer, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And please do try. Please do try, so that we build our answer along the way. First and foremost, we are going to clear that interview. That's our first obstacle. Then second obstacle is basically working on the job, and we are there with you. So if you have to learn any new tool, any new pardon me, any new system, we will go through it together. We will work on it together, and then that's how this what I can say, on-site project work basically guides you in terms of on-job support. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. It's really great answer, ma'am. Anybody else want to try? I'll repeat again why I basically encourage these things, to build an what you can say, practice of revising what we've learned and try to explain in your own word, because you as a person is going to work on the job. So unless and until you give these answers to understand what we are trying to say, it's difficult to clear the interview. Somebody might go into a bit of depth sometimes, but most of the time they just want to hear these specific words out of your mouth, and that's it. They got their answer. Most rarely the interview can be completed within 20-30 minutes as well. But sometimes if the interviewer can't get those words out of your answer, he might keep asking all the other unnecessary question also, and these things do happens, and the interview goes on and on. So please remember, we need to use these words whichever these enthusiasts use in terms of cybersecurity technical area. This is really great. So let's move on. So we had a look at IAM tool. We understood what IAM tool is, what are the basically 12 best practices. Then we try to understand Microsoft Azure or Active Directory. This is the most used IAM tool in the world, because most of us, we use Microsoft Windows as our operating system, and that's why this is the most used IAM tool across the world. Now even if you go to the Microsoft Azure directory, if you are using that Microsoft OneNote or various other services like Office 365, which works on Microsoft Azure directory, so it's a simple Active Directory tool which is evolved to the cloud services also. So that's how Azure Active Directory is one of the most used cloud-based IAM tools, which you use day in day out. Even if you don't know it, you might be using it. The best part of these tools are they can be hidden in the background. They might run as a service, and you basically keep complying to those services, so that in case if you're not, the tool might what you can say, end your session then and there. What do you mean by session? When I get connected, when I log into Amazon, I am connected to Amazon server as a client, and this is, you can call a session. Whenever you start talking with somebody, it's called talking session. That's a normal English I'm talking about. Similarly, whenever your laptop, desktop, smartphone connects to a server, let's say Amazon. You want to purchase something, so you log into the Amazon. Now this is a start of a session. You identify yourself. You say Amazon, hey Amazon, I'm Ravindra Pandey and I'm looking for good mattress for me because my back pain and whatnot. So Amazon say, hey Ravindra, I know you first signed in 2013 and you're a good customer. You purchased so many entities from us in the last 3 months, 6 months, what all. And say, oh yeah, I know Ravindra Pandey, and this is a normal laptop he normally access, the desktop he normally access from. Because whenever the server start a session, he or she needs to also get confirmed the client is same. Otherwise, somebody might be using Ravindra Pandey's password from their laptop, smartphone. Then Amazon say, hey Ravindra, could you please give me your birth date? Could you please key in the OTP I have shared with you on your mobile? And if he or she couldn't give these details, they say, hey, could you please authorize yourself? And something like that. So there are some additional way, some more secure way to clear these access to start this session. Once you start this session, the Amazon knows who you are. They might suggest you certain thing based on your last purchases, or they know what you want. If you are a frequent customer, like you might order some sort of a cheese from of some specific companies, right? And in that scenario, that can be a frequent purchaser, and Amazon keeps track of those things. We're going to learn about these consumer behaviors also, but these give Amazon a great way to serve. So IDIM works both ways. It works with the organizer, with a zero policy, with the client to understand a history of a client and try to serve them better. So even like that, we have these Active Directory, or what you can say, session management also. These might called as a session management tools also. Session in the sense, I start the session, I complete my work, I end the session, and something like that. So this way, these IDIM tools are really what you can say, icebreakers, or they are kind of start of any communication, vocal, digital, and so on. If you look at the telephone companies also, they also have a IDIM access tools. So if you are using something like Southwestern Bell, or if you're using whatever mobile service carrier, when you start your phone, it says registering on your network. That registering on your network means your phone is authenticating itself on the mobile network, saying, hey, I am such and such phone, this is my MAC address, machine address, and this is the user who's trying to access. The user is basically your phone number, access your network. Am I registered with you? The phone carrier might check out all these details, try to compare with the MAC address and the number, and the service provider might access the birth date, the zip code, and whatnot, whatever they feel is a kind of way to authenticate that new number completely and set up an authorized session, so that the mobile phone is constantly connected with the mobile service provider via different mobiles, antennas. The communication flows through this your mobile phone, then various number of antennas, then to the mobile servers, mobile services server. Could you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm just giving you the ammunition to explain IDIM to interviewer in case he or she asks about a particular service like mobile phone. Mobile phone is the simplest way to understand in terms of how one smart device start communicating with the servers or the service providers. And this will give you a clear idea why we need such tools and different entities within those tools. Like if I have a mobile service with subscription to mobile TV, subscription to some storage, and these things are basically additional facilities attached with that authorization and authentication mechanism, which let me use these services in case if I have subscribed to, or if they are going to give it free to you for a certain period of time. Could you understand what I'm trying to say as an example? Any questions so far? Am I being too technical here? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry. So, any questions so far? No question. Okay, let me move ahead. So, and then we had a look at IBM IAM CIM tool. IBM is one of the oldest infrastructure company. We had a look at that UI, a kind of blackish UI, not so encouraging, but yes, it's one of the most, oldest tools. They have a good number of sizable consumer base. So if you're using any IBM server, you might use this CIAM tool. It's called Consumer Identity and Access Management Tools. CIM tool is basically started the actual consumer management, vendor management, and started differentiating between different level of these access. And so this was a kind of what you can say quite evolutionary tool in late 1980s 90s. So it's really one of the most flagship product of IBM as well, and it's in use for quite good number of IBM products as well. Okay, then let's move on to the CloudKnox. CloudKnox basically is also one of the oldest tools which is now purchased by Microsoft in just before few months. So if you go to this cloudknox.io website, you might land to the Microsoft directory, and we'll have a look at that as well. No worries. Let's try to understand CloudKnox and the way they uses this technical terminology if you're practicing for the CloudKnox type of clients. The CloudKnox permission management, so CPMP, the CloudKnox permission management platform was built to manage identity within clouds. Now this is a cloud-based permission management system, cloud-based access management system. At the core of platform is an activity-based authorization engine. Now these are the words which differentiate these things, or they say this is our unique selling proposition. So we do activity-based authorization engine. What do you mean by activity-based authorization engine? A mobile, getting registered on a mobile network. So it got registered for the basic services like call, like SMS, then comes WhatsApp, Instagram, then comes, all your other services like cloud storage, free cloud storage, a specialized chat like one which we had for BlackBerry. There might be a specific chat with certain number of model of phone like Samsung, Apple, and all those things as well. So there's an Apple chat. So all these different services have different activities. So if I'm using something, some activity like storage my photo or real-time synchronization of captured photo to a cloud storage given by these mobile service provider. So there's an activity. When I click a photo, the phone will tell to the cloud service provider, hey, cloud service provider, this is a new photo. Let's get it uploaded to this cloud. And yes, this getting uploaded real time in the background. So there's an activity of photo synchronization happening between a mobile and its service provider. And that way, all these activity, whatever do, we have to clear the authorization, and that's why we have a specific service called activity-based authorization engine. If you know, your phone will have a small application of your mobile service provider. Why do we have such application? Because these applications include such facilities, such services called activity-based authorization engine that uses machine learning to collect and analyze activity of both user and a non-human entities in a real time across cross platform. Could you understand an self-intelligent service which can help you better? Let's say every time you click a photo, the phone knows to synchronize your phone or update your photo to a cloud service provider's storage. In case if after clicking my photo, my phone's get crashed, fall down, or might not get into the might get damaged beyond working or something like that. Let's take a hypothetical example. In all such scenario, whenever you click photo, that last photo might have been updated to the cloud service provider without you pressing a button as a phone operator. Could you understand me? What I'm trying to say here, these are self-sufficient automated mechanism built into almost all smartphone, whatever we use from last couple of years. And this is how the each and every services which we use are basically embedded these artificial intelligence or a machine learning type of mechanism to collect and analyze activity of our users. And that's how we are getting better day by day. Then there are certain, non-human entities as well, like you travel out of some coverage area and you enter into different mobile service providers area. Now, your previous mobile service provider might not have a services in that area. So what you do? You normally set up a trust policy with that service provider. Let's say AT&T versus Southwestern Bell. I was basically living in St. Louis for a good many years, so that's why these two are major service provider in St. Louis area. That's why I know these two. You can imagine any service provider. So if I move to St. Louis City to Kansas City, Kansas City was a AT&T hub, and St. Louis was a Southwestern Bell hub. So whenever I move to Kansas City, I might go into the roaming mode. What is roaming mode? Well, I'm not actually in my service provider, but I'm into different service provider. So Southwestern Bell and AT&T have a treaty in between them, have an agreement in between them saying, hey, if Ravindra travels from St. Louis to Kansas, please do provide the services like it's your own customer. And we might share some revenue in terms of these services from this consumer. And if you have your consumer coming into St. Louis, I'll support him with my services. And these are all done automatically without the knowledge of the user or the or disturbing him or her or disconnecting the call itself. So you might be traveling from St. Louis to Kansas in a car and you're continuously on a call, and this might happen. And that's how, or a simplest example is that, map services on your phone. You might be traveling from St. Louis to Kansas with a map, and that map continuously displays your current positions, left turn, right turn, and this and that. There are some GPS services, global positioning services. These services can be provided by your mobile service company as well. So all this real-time support is given to the user to basically earn the revenues. Now these earn the revenues is really in multiples of thousand, if not multiples of $1 million. Believe me, like that, like Ravindra, I'm talking about moving from St. Louis to Kansas for some seminar. There could be 100 or 1,000 such users which are shifting in a given day. And if you multiply these revenues, let's say if they charge you 10 cents extra for roaming, they'll get 10 cents into so many users in a given day. And if you try to understand this telecom billing model, you can clearly understand these are really big companies which are making billions of dollars in a given year with just small services also. And that's why they can provide you really high quality services as well. So it works both ways. So simple permission management platform can give a great insight into every consumer behavior for the big companies as well. In addition to looking for anonymous activity that might include a threat or a compromise, all that data is also fed into the platform privilege creep indexed. Now these activity-based authorization engine, privilege creep index, these are the specified services name might be copyrighted by the CloudKnox. These are the patented services given to their clients. The index collect information about identity access an entire enterprise and scores them based on the how many permission they have used versus how many they need to perform their jobs or a function. So there could be need-based services, there could be additional services, there could be accessory services which can be on above and beyond the need-based services. And so they can build a different model to basically keep charging to their client. This makes easy to identify risk, take action to trim their permission before they can be exploited. If you can remember, before 6-7 years ago, there were quite a few instances like many of hackers, they have tried to decrypt the SIM cards and gain access to set up a call without paying anything to these service provider. In all such cases, if any such call gets initiated, which is not authorized, authenticated, or couldn't be identified, nowadays, all these cell tower have a clear-cut screening mechanism for such calls, and they normally disconnect those calls then and there immediately, so that all these SIM duplications, the decrypting communication for a given network have been stopped in a great extent in the last few years. That's how we have improved our identification management systems in a great way. Now let me play you a small video. How do you protect AWS with CloudKnox? And this was a bit 8-month-old video where in very few minutes we'll try to understand how the protection of CloudKnox was implemented at a practical level. And then we'll
example, we have multiple devices in the environment. From the IT perspective, you have networks, servers, proxies, application firewall, your test environment, your production environment. So every as an IT support user, user gets logs into the so every device needs a unique ID to log into the respective devices, and that entire activity, it is difficult to manage when it comes to a consolidation of the entire exercise as who as an user or a privileged user has done what activities as an operation from the operation perspective. So there we have CyberArk coming into picture. It is used as a single you can also consider it as a single sign-on activity, wherein all the devices, all the respective devices in the support users are integrated to CyberArk, and the user has just to log into the CyberArk portal, and from there he or she can access all the networks and infrastructure devices and do whatever activities they want. Plus, the activity what is being done in the respective device, it is a video log is getting generated. So if say in future, if something goes wrong in that device, or if as an cyber security guy or analyst, you want to do an investigation as in the post analysis or a forensic part. So then you have the entire video log to see which user has accessed what device and what are the activities or suspicious activities that is being performed in this device. So there we have a CyberArk as a single platform, single sign-on integrated with multiple devices from the operation perspective. I hope that was informative to you. Any questions on that? Hello. Okay, so like
as you can see in the screen, basically cyber identity security platform, and this I'm directly showing it from their website. So these are the current way they explain their CyberArk platform with workforce customer access. So that's kind of employee endpoint privilege access security for all your users, customers, privilege access management. This is kind of for the privileged person, like cyber security, or SOC department employees might get some privileged access and so on and so forth. Then there are secrets management specifically for some critical entities, critical digital artifacts, or critical digital entities like blockchain or some specified documents. Then cloud privilege security. If same user is using cloud, be it a consumer, then it might be get scanned through cloud privilege security also. And then we have identity management as a simple IAM type kind of tool, which is present in CyberArk identity security platform. And it basically all these bundled together can get integrated seamlessly, which has intelligent privilege control and flexible identity automation orchestration. So these are the words normally CyberArk enthusiasts use. Yes, Anuj sir, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yes, as you can see, what are the services that CyberArk offers, as explained by Ravindra sir? Endpoint security, privilege access, secret management, cloud privilege security or identity management. So when it comes to, so just see, imagine these services managing at individual devices for a group of users. Some users would be having privileged access in a network firewall. Some users having secret access to the firewall. Some are like general users from the operation perspective. So and if you have a huge environment, or a large environment from the organization, so that it makes it difficult for the cyber analyst and from the network security to manage it. Cyber security gives you, CyberArk gives you that one point solution to access all level of access, to a group of users, and uh, maintaining their activity, whatever they have done from forensic perspective.
Please have a look at this website. They are also given, good amount of client testimonials also. And I believe you can, there are some trial, let me check out products. Okay, they have these many products, privilege access and all those things, right? So if you go to, let's say, identity management. So in identity management, you have automated access, provisioning, identity orchestration, compliance control, and comprehensive reporting as well. So these are the few products detail. You can have a look at it. You can go and have learn, click on learn more and try to understand how these are helping to create these identity management solutions in terms of how the CyberArk is implementing these things. Okay. And there are even trial also. You can start a trial, 30-day trial, if you want to try CyberArk. Okay, give it a try if you want to try out these things. Otherwise, we'll practice it in terms of we will showcase some of the tools in terms of how do you create user, how do you basically configure the user. It's one and the same thing, only the menu differs from right to left, left to right, and so on and so forth. Okay, does anybody have any question as of now? Okay, I have a video basically. Let me show you the CyberArk operations also, so that you can get a feel of the UI. So let me share all these videos so that you can have a look at it. Even the link of the website which I have just discussed with you, you can have a look at that portals and try to understand and formulate an answer in terms of ID and ID access management. What are the tool you know the most? And yes, you need to understand, or you need to prepare such scripts in terms of which is the tool which you have worked with or which you like most, so that whenever the interviewer asks, you can talk about those things. Out of all, it's like language, right? If you know one language, you can learn others by referencing it. Similarly, here we are trying to learn one tool in depth, and then we can explain all these processes one or another based on that tool. Every tool might have a way to explain it, but whatever you are comfortable in answering the question, please do work on such tools. We are going to have some more tools as well, like we'll learn on ForgeRock, then we'll learn on Okta, then we'll learn on OneLogin, then we'll learn on ping identity. This was added for one of the interviews in last to last session. So this thing we keep adding as per the need basis also. So you might get a new tool if you are preparing for some interview, and we might go over through it through for the everybody or for few as well, whoever want to explore that tool also. So there could be n number of tools we are talking about. We are going to discuss around 12 13 tools here, and we'll try to understand how identity management and how access management is configured for a given company which have accepted a tool as their prominent IAM tool. And that's how we're going to build our answers for a given interview. Does that make sense to you? Anybody have any question? Anuj sir, do you want to add anything?
No, sir.
You're good, right? Yes. So do anybody have any questions for me at this moment? They are good, right? Sure, no problem. So let me share this recording within a few minutes on the YouTube, and you can go through these things. How we try to understand the IDM access and the applicability of these tools, right? We have just done few, and I believe you got an idea what IDM access tools does. There's nothing astonishing about different tool doing different thing. Only they use some different technicalities or the way they want to explain these their application of these identity and access management policies or rules for a given network, for a given their digital entities. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's stop here. Let's meet again tomorrow to understand, to go over to the through the more tools. Okay,
Ravindra sir, I have certain things to speak about.
please go ahead.
I believe the members of this session are part of the WhatsApp group, the
Yes.
training cybersecurity group.
Yes.
Yeah. So there, one of the HR has posted some job descriptions. I wanted to speak on that. By any chance, in any chance anyone had got any chance to go through those GDs? Hello.
No, I haven't.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I saw them today, but I didn't really. I just felt maybe it's not for us that are still learning.
Okay, so if you can open the WhatsApp group and go through that JD right now. So that basically speaks about from the job perspective, as in what are the technical skills that is required for that particular job.
Which particular one? The analyst, one of it?
The training cybersecurity group.
Yes. I have the job that came was the Georgia DHS cybersecurity analyst.
Yeah, cybersecurity engineer. Location is Long Island City, NY.
Let me look for that. Okay.
This message was posted on Wednesday by Mokshi.
Okay. Okay, yes.
The above one. On Wednesday by Mokshi.
I still go up. Still above.
Let me comment again on this.
No, you have to go up.
You have to go up.
Yeah. If Ravi sir, I have just sent a message. If you can click that link. Yes. Yeah. So if you can see here the requirement from the job perspective, it is DevOps tools, regulatory frameworks, information security management, such as ISO, NIST, network monitoring, intrusion detection, analysts, various computer network defense tools. So see, these are just the part of the job profile that is they're looking for. So when you understand the IT security or the IT audits, or basically cyber security audits, so this is anyways covered in that entire domain. When it comes to ISO 27001, NIST framework, these are certain guidelines and regulations that needs to be followed for every organization when it comes to information security, because the main focus of the organization is to run the business. So for them, IT is the backbone. And what are the best practices or do's and don'ts from when it comes to IT and cybersecurity? So these guidelines gives a better picture in terms of expectation that is to be set when it comes to the cybersecurity part. So I would request if you guys go through such JDs, and in tomorrow's session we can have 15 minutes of discussion on such a requirement.
Okay.
Then we can probably have a requirement discussion, what is expected, what additional things we need to cover on as a part of the training material. So you can see as in business continuity, disaster recovery plan, These are all part of your ISO 27000 and NIST framework. So if you see ISO 27000, COBIT, NIST, that is National Institute of Standard Technology 800. These are the best practices or the guidelines that every organization follows as per their business, as per their operations. Any questions? Any further questions onto it?
I think it's okay. We're understanding it now.
Yeah. So look post training. Look at these job descriptions and try to correlate what are things we have explained you, and based on that, what does the JD? What is the expectation that the JD sets?
So when they said 12 years experience, does it really matter?
Sorry, come again.
When they say experience, 12 plus years, does that supposed to scare us?
No, that doesn't. So they're talking about the overall experience, but if you're good with the technical and the technology term of it is fine.
Yeah.
That won't matter. So see, it's a minimum 5 years of experience in IT audit, and overall they are looking as in 12 years. So we will focus on the experience that is required specific to IT and this security area.
And they say experience in IT. So you could be a data operator for 5 years. So this also can be tweaked out, right? So please don't worry about the levels of experience as of now. What Anuj sir is trying to share with us is we need to start working towards the interview preparations right away. And if you find any such words or any such technicalities, please, what you can say, separate it out. Please try to understand. Please ask questions like, have you done this? Could you please repeat your answer? Could you please tell me what you mean by COBIT, COBIT, or ISO 2000? ISO 2000 we have to cover. After IDA and IAM tools, we'll go through, couple of these technical terms like ISO 27000, NIST 800, and so on and so forth. So here we need to understand the standard to be applied in terms of cybersecurity to a given company or adopted by a given company wherever we are going to. So these organizations who have floated these requirements specifically talk about these two main important things, three basically. So you have ISO 27000, COBIT, and NIST 800. So these are the three things we should know how these are understood, how these are implemented at a ground level. But yes, we are going to cover that. But what Anuj sir was looking forward is start looking out these JD, start understanding whatever we are covered, whatever we have to address in the near future. So please do work on these things or start going through these JDs as well. Does that make sense, sir? Anybody needs any further details?
Yeah, along with this, also the questionnaires which I had prepared and shared on the drive. We can go through that as well.
Question is that? Sorry.
Yeah, I had prepared certain question bank and the answers with respect to those questions with respect to each and every domain. So we can go through that as well from an interview perspective.
Where did you share the question? Sorry, maybe I wasn't here.
It is in the Google Sheet. Ravindra sir, if you can guide them.
Okay. Okay, it's in a WhatsApp, right? Let me go through it. Whenever you shared, sir, this one. You are the host. Could you please, share the sheet?
Yeah.
And could you please show those things, sir?
Yeah,
I
just
might.
a minute.
Yes, this is the one. Wait a minute. No, that's okay.
I'll again share that link in the group so that
Yes, please.
I'll go through it.
Oh, no problem. Please have a look at the groups for messages. Yes. Great, no problem. So let's stop here today. If you have any questions, please do post up a WhatsApp message, and we'll be happy to address that as well. Okay, Anuj sir is sharing the link again so that you can go through it whenever you get a time and try to understand or start studying these different JDs as well. That's a kind of a good preparations towards the interview, or how you yourself can basically understand. Okay, wow. Anuj sir has already shared this link again. Let me check out. Oh, it's in here only. Okay, no problem. Let me stop share, start share. Here. Okay, could you see these things? AJ interview question. There's a sheet called AJ interview questions. Can everybody see this thing on your screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are how many? There are a good number of questions here. So please go through these as well. These are specific for these, specific these things. Okay. There are almost 100 odd, question and answer. Please go through this thing. These are frequently asked questions we are talking about. Please go through this as well. This is a preparations towards the what you can say building our preparing for the interview and walking the last miles to clear the interview as and when we are ready for it. Okay, I don't know why it's not let me do it, maximize or minimize. I don't know, there's different challenge here. How do you say? Okay, it's view. Okay, it is 100%, right? So let me go to the 70. Yeah, now you can read it completely, I believe. Yes. Okay, so let's stop here at this moment, and let's wait tomorrow at 9:30. Okay, please feel to ask any questions on this WhatsApp group, and we'll be happy to answer all your queries and questions. But please start preparing towards the job interviews, start preparing, going through this JD, and try to understand how we can do it better. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. Have a good night. Bye bye. Take care.